An update from LSU as Brian Kelly has filed lawsuit against the university. Get right to it, but reminder to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. I know a lot of you like to watch, and we appreciate you doing it. Hit the subscribe button. It's free, and we love having you here, and we want to continue to do it. So hit the subscribe button, and please share and like and give us your comments. So, yes, Brian Kelly, we talked with you yesterday and told you kind of where things were. There was a formal letter sent by Brian Kelly's representatives to LSU and asked that it be responded to by 5 p.m. on Monday. And Brian Kelly has decided, LSU informed Brian Kelly, that he was never formally terminated and that they were going to be firing him for cause. So in response, Brian Kelly is filing a lawsuit against LSU. At least that's where it's headed. Now, let me go back and tell you a little bit, and I'll tell you why I don't think this is going to ever go to court. Well, we'll go through the process. A little refresher. Brian Kelly met with then LSU Athletic Director Scott Woodard on Sunday the 26th, the day after the A&M game. LSU informs now Brian Kelly's representatives that Woodward didn't have the authority to formally fire Brian Kelly. Keyword, formally. Obviously, it was done verbally. The written termination that's the formal process. Firing for cause is supposed to be done within 7 days of the termination. You must, if you're going to fire for cause. The contract for cause, people have asked about that. Well, what is it? Contract's right here. Here's the contract. If you look at for cause, it's got like 14 different things. But let me sum it up for you. For cause is material or substantial NCAA rule violations, being convicted of a felony, or any crime involving gambling, drugs, alcohol, or serious misconduct, which either displays a continual serious disrespect for the mission of LSU or constitute moral turpitude. Contractually, LSU must inform Kelly within 7 days of the termination that it would be for cause. They did so Monday, 15 days after Kelly was last on the sidelines for LSU. The document did not disclose the reasoning for firing with cause. That was not something that they had in that. Do they have something? Don't know. LSU offered Kelly settlements of $30 million in the days following the October 26th. Kelly rejected it in an email to the administrators, though he suggested that he would be open to a desire to reach a settlement of what's owed to me under the contract, although it would have to make sense financially, is how he worded it. Okay, what does it mean? What's likely to happen? That's what really you want to know, right? It's all legal jargon for playing hardball, somewhat of a legal game of chicken. LSU's in no hurry to pay this off. They can pay it off in monthly installments, but they want to reduce the buyout. And they know they're going to have to pay it unless they truly have something for cause. And if they would have, this would have been done sooner. This is, to me, I think, in response to a scare tactic that they want to force him to the negotiating table and take maybe less than he's willing to take at this point. They want to reduce the buyout. And they're willing to pay a certain amount in 1, 2, or a few installments in exchange for lifting the mitigation portion of Brian Kelly's contract, meaning that BK could take another job around football and not have the offset language from his LSU buyout. He can go get a job in coaching. He can go get a job in TV revolving football, and he could keep all of that money and not have that amount be offset by what he's making. LSU's not in a rush. They've got time. They can pay this over time. They can drag this out if they want to. Whether that's the right thing or wrong thing, that's the reality of their side of it. Brian Kelly's the one that would like to get this resolved quicker so he can move forward. So LSU can pay the approximate $751,000 per month every month for the next 6 years. And Brian Kelly can wait to get his monthly installments just like Ed Orgeron has. In fact, Ed Orgeron is getting his last monthly payment this month from his buyout. So he can take it that way. Now, Kelly has filed a lawsuit, but again, he's informed them that he's still open to a negotiated settlement. Well, because he's turned down $30 million in 2 installments, you could tell that he's not comfortable with what's been offered to this point. But think about it in a couple of ways. And I hear a lot of you put it in the messages, well, pay the man. LSU's going to pay him. It's just how they pay it, how it's going to play out. So let's go through a couple of scenarios. Let's say it went to court. Well, then in court, it could be dragged out for a long time. And you got legal costs on both sides. For Brian Kelly, he's got to pay that, and he's got to pay that out of just getting his monthly installments. Then there's a run of risk. What if you lose it? There's always a risk that if you lose in court, in Brian Kelly's case, comes away with nothing. Don't think that's going to happen because I don't think LSU has a real case. They'd have to prove for cause. It'd have to be one of those 14 items of for cause. I just summed them up for you. But you got to have proof of that. Tough to prove. But the worst case for LSU is they'd have to pay the money out over its monthly installments. They would prefer to pay less, and they would be okay with paying it in lump sums and giving Kelly his freedom, but Kelly has to have the right figure. So there is a number there that both are comfortable with. Don't know what it is right now, but there's a number that they're both comfortable with. I don't think this is going to go to court because it's only going to drag out those payments for Kelly, which is going to be costly for him with those legal fees. Neither side wants to go through the discovery process, as it's going to make both look bad. So LSU says they're firing him for cause. Kelly files suit. Negotiations, this brings the negotiations, this heats it up a little bit, right? Negotiations are going to continue until a mutually agreeable settlement's made. This is why it won't go to court, in my opinion. Now, maybe it does. If it does, all those things, the risk involved, what do they have on Brian? Can they prove it? What is Brian, Brian's entitled to his defense, would be entitled to what do they have on him? I don't think either side wants to go there. I think there's some things in the closet for both sides that they don't want out there. And I think that there's a risk for Brian, maybe moral things that might affect his ability to land another job, all those things that to me are strong indicators why a coach usually settles at this point. Now, LSU, I mentioned this before, LSU could have fired Ed Orgeron for cause, or at least they had maybe cause, the Title IX lawsuit and everything. They opted to pay him the full amount. You got different people involved. You got different people in the legal system involved. Does LSU want to fight it? Don't know. LSU doesn't, I think, or should not want to have the negative press while in a coaching search. But certainly the worst that could happen to them is that they would have to pay the $54 million. And again, they could pay it off in monthly installments. They'd prefer to get it down lower. But that's kind of where we are. You will hear that, hey, it's a filing suit, and where does this go from here? I think it does bring them both to the negotiating table. We'll see where things go. We'll keep you here for all the latest as things progress. I had planned on doing something else today, but with this news, we thought we would get you up to date on how it's being perceived on both sides, what both sides are thinking going into this process, and where things go forward. In my mind, it's just going to bring them to the negotiating table with maybe a little bit more fire under each's seat at this point. We'll see where it takes it. Reminder again, hit that subscribe button, share, like us, and certainly give us your feedback. We appreciate you joining us. We'll talk to you again next time, everybody.